Appropriating.
Actually, before you do that, I actually wasn't recording on one of the things. So thank you and welcome to the Broski Doodles podcast. My name is Kiko Cervantes, your host. We're back with a beautiful guest, DJ BJ, known in the night world as one of the best DJs for a very dark and eerie music. And we have DJ AJ, also known as Fear in the Warcraft scene. No, he's not a nerd and he is single. We just re-released them into the wild, and we will have a Mitchapalooza soon. So, thank you guys for being back. I know that it is hard to be back in this podcast while you're searching for a job and try to make those things actually meet at one point.
Mm-hmm. It's actually counterintuitive.
Yeah, counterintuitive. That's why I'm doing my barman training right now online. But I wanted to pick up on what we were talking about on the last podcast, which was how some cultures might seem to be a bit like in the past, right? Like we're talking about, sexual interaction with donkeys, known in some places as donkey fucking. And, not that we condone it or not, but it is a reality and it is part of certain traditions and cultures in certain places. So, up to one point, do we allow traditions to dictate and we don't allow the progress, right? And it is sort of a hard debate there. One of the examples that comes up is I was recently watching a documentary in Japan, which to me is a culture that seems insanely interesting. And, there's some Japanese women or guys that like to be with foreigners. But then there's others that only marry between themselves and don't want to mingle with anyone else. And they have this in Chinese culture as well and in many cultures around the world. And that's like their tradition. So I wanted to ask you guys, is that something that could be considered racist, or is that just traditional and is fine? You see it as something as acceptable?
A bit of both. I guess it could be seen as racist, not being progressive enough to the point where the people are mingling with other societies and other cultures. But at the same time, you can't really cross that boundary, right? You got to respect everybody's own individuality. If that culture is known for this sort of thing, that they want to just stay within the lines and the confines, every right to them, right? More power to them.
Is it a thing where the person decides that they only want to be with people of their same race?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it they only want to be with themselves, with their own race, or do they not want to be with any other race? Because that's a different, that's where I see the difference. If he just wants to be with somebody of his own race, or she, or whoever the person is, mm-hmm. Does that make them racist versus them
asking you
not wanting to be with other people? I know you're asking me, but
are you being a politician and then answering me with a question?
I'm learning.
Let me answer that by asking this.
That's the online course that I'm taking right now, so that's why.
Evading responsibility 101. Motherfucker, you tell me, dog, because okay, I'll give you my opinion. If you change it and make it Spanish white people or white people in America, where to say we only want to mingle with our own, goddammit, right? That would sound racist in many people's mind. Mm-hmm. But then when you have a culture from Asia or Africa, or even South America, right? Some it's secluded indigenous people. They're no, we only want to mingle with us to keep our culture and our thing. It looks oh, no, that's fine. And I'm not saying one or the other. I'm just saying it almost feels like if you want to be a tolerable, woke person, you also have to respect people that want to do that, even mm-hmm. though that's not something that I would agree myself. I'm mm-hmm. a mixed person myself. Mm-hmm. But I do feel it wouldn't feel right to be no, you can't think like that. If they don't mess with nobody and they keep to their own and they don't hurt anybody.
When you're saying that you're mixed, what do you mean by that?
It means it means I'm like mixed races, I guess.
Okay,
or
what are
ethnicities, like
what are
Spanish
your-
and Venezuelan.
But see, they have similar cultures. Like they're both of Spanish descent. Would you agree with that? Like that
Well,
Venezuelan.
you could say they're both from European descent because you
Right.
do have Italian and Portuguese colonies in Venezuela. But in Venezuela, you also have its own culture from the indigenous background. So I mean, I do know, like I do, if what you want to say, like, is that a Venezuelan and a Spanish easier for them
To mesh.
to mess than with like a Spanish and like Asian because of the different, yeah, that I do agree. Or like, so yeah, I think the Western world in general is easier like to mingle, right? Because we have more of that culture.
But
Then you
what do you
have
mean by
other-
mingling, though? Are you specifically referring to relationships?
I mean, yeah, like
It's
like
specifically
procreating,
procreation.
maybe.
Yeah.
Like, cause procreation, I think is a hard one, cause
I mean, I think it's tolerable. You have like fucking Christian mingle. You got
See, but
black people meet or whatever, or farmers only.
farmers only. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, farmers only. I only want to be with other farmers.
God damn.
But they're not necessarily white. They could be like Mexican and stuff. Or one of them other Mexican countries.
Okay. I only want to be with other Mexican grape pickers.
Like Persian wife finder or Russian wife finder. Like
yeah,
I think you're allowed to be in have your own opinion when it comes to.
I mean,
who
at
you
the end
wanna
of the
be
day,
with.
like it's kind of like if let's say you don't like, if as a man to have sex with, you're not like specifically attracted to Asian women or black women, for example. Like if that was the thing, I don't think that would be considered racist. Like that's just like your sexual desires, right?
Right.
Like I mean, like I myself, I don't think I'm really picky at that. I think if you're beautiful, you're beautiful. I think it's in the soul. Like really.
I feel that the issue arises when you as an individual choose to date somebody outside of your race or your culture, your background, and then the people around you or in the people in your society, they look down upon you because you made this decision. Then I mean, not necessarily you, but the people around you could be deemed as racist in that aspect alone, in that little concept.
Okay, and now this is my question, right? Because this is where it gets tricky. Would it be racist if someone in your family is like, oh, I'm not too happy about this because they're not keeping the culture how it should be? Kind of like where someone in Japan or China doesn't want to marry someone, you know what I mean? Like, isn't it weird there because there might be a double standard there, and I don't know the answer to it, but do you see like the issue there?
Yeah, the issue is it's okay to not agree with it. It's okay if you have a different mindset, right? Per se. The issue now is that you are now, let's say, as a result of you being in that relationship, your family is ostracizing you, is not inviting you to your house, says no, like you can't come over, like you're gonna bring that person, blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. Because
I mean, I wasn't referring to something as hostile as that.
Well,
I mean,
that's what
just
makes it
the
racist.
The typical
That's what makes it
on
racist.
shit talking.
But when it gets to that point where they alienate you, then it becomes racist. Like when they're taking action about their feelings
Okay.
towards it.
Okay, so if they just shit talking in the corner,
But are
That's
they
just-
shit talking to you? Are they shit talking to you? Are they shit talking to your mate? Are they shit talking in general? Just
no,
like in a
just
public
like,
forum?
Oh, like the typical like what you like. I'm not saying I have an aunt like this, but I'm just saying like.
I'm not saying it.
Like the typical toxic aunt that would say some shit like, like, oh yeah, they're not, I don't think that's gonna work out, they're too different, this and that, like that type of shit.
that I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, like I would know that she
Like you would just be like,
has-
she's a bitch. But
like she's racist light or like diet racism.
okay. Because like, now, can we agree though? To, not to just like to also be on both sides. Can we agree that if you're gonna be marrying into a different culture, that there are gonna be challenges ahead?
Oh, definitely.
Especially the more difference there is between the cultures.
Yeah, and unless both people in the relationship are willing to embrace each other's cultures, it's doomed to fail for sure.
Like there's a movie like it's about like with Carlos Mencia. It's like the dad of a Mexican family, and then there's a black family, and it's like a comedy.
I think that's the one with the black guy that died, Bernie Mac.
I
No.
think so. No, or Forrest Whitaker, some.
Oh, Forrest Whitaker.
I don't know. No, I don't know. Maybe one of them or the other one, Bernie Mac. I think maybe. But it's not funny, but it does like show you the typical things you would expect, like black people do this, Mexican people do this, like, and but at the end of the day, I mean, obviously the movie ends like with a beautiful embrace
Yeah.
of both and shit, but like that's not always the case. So like, I guess it is easier if you marry into your
Tradition, your culture, your
yeah. But then saying that almost sounds like, I mean, like I don't give a fuck. Like I wouldn't mind any person, like wherever you're from, if you're somebody. But I'm just saying, I don't know if you could really say someone is wrong for, like if you look at Muslim communities or Jewish communities, they want to marry into themselves. So is that something
that brings in religion? Like it's somebody in the same and similar religion or religious
and is
status.
that something? Should we consider that something different? Like, if it's religion, then it's different.
Well, belief is a belief. It's just religion is the ultimate belief, right?
Interesting. Can you like legally be racist against somebody using religion?
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Like it should be equal across the board. Like if we're gonna like. It shouldn't be like, no, but in that case, I don't want to mingle with others because of religion. Or, no, but in that case, I don't want to mingle with others because they're culture. So then it's like, what are...
Where do we draw the line?
Exactly.
Man.
It's a weird one, right?
Definitely strange.
Like, for example, BJ, to make you feel uncomfortable and possibly unemployable. Like, what...
I'm already uncomfortable.
do you have... Like, do you have a preference in sex, for example?
When you say preference, you mean like?
I mean, like ethnic wise, like not girl, boy. Which I mean, you're open to share it as well. But I'm more asking about.
Honestly, for the simple act of intercourse, it doesn't matter. Race doesn't matter to me. I've been with black girls, I've been with white girls, I've been with Hispanic girls. But if I were to settle down with somebody and marry somebody, I would prefer to have similar cultural beliefs.
So like Latina,
like Latina.
Okay. And how do you justify your racism? No, but this is interesting. Like this is
it's not a justification. It's really more of like the way that I grew up, the similar values that I have. I would like for my mate to have them, independent of race. If I find a white girl that does this, likes Latin music and wants to go out or enjoys cleaning on Saturdays with mariachi music
and fries plantains in the weekend.
Oh, definitely plantains. I just had that's what I had for lunch. Plátano con salchichón and huevo frito.
Damn. Yeah. Powerhouse.
Key to John's heart right there.
You can make that. Yep, you're good.
Right.
So Michelle, don't get down on this. You can, but there are parameters to meet. Okay. No, but so like that's interesting because I agree with you. Like it's not. I wouldn't like judge you for, and like myself, even though I haven't really thought about it, I think it would be a thing to think about if I had a partner where then I had a big contrast of cultures.
Right.
Like my girlfriend, she's Venezuelan as well, so. It's the same,
Right.
And there is an advantage to that, right? Like there's so many factors that could fuck up a relationship that that being something not to worry about is definitely an advantage. So
also think about like how both of you grew up. If you were in two completely different cultures, you can't even like you say like a mannerism or you do something oh, that's from my culture, but the other person wouldn't understand. But if it's somebody that's similar, then, aha, that's hilarious or whatever, or
Yeah. No, definitely. Like, like there will be certain girls I might find that the way that I am not, like, oh, this guy's always like making jokes and like being, borderline offensive, and he thinks it's cool type shit. Like, might not be the. But okay, so you're.
Well, when you're getting married, you're getting married into somebody's family, really.
Like, for example, you, Fear. Do you have any experiences with mingling with other cultures that are not yours, and anything you can talk about of those experiences?
Yeah. When I lived in St. Louis for a while, when I was dating my first son's mother. Yeah, it got weird because...
What was the culture you were going into?
Going to live in St. Louis, Missouri, white culture. So wherever I would go, I would look like the odd guy there, At the time,
which is funny to me for you to say that, because you're not specifically... Like, you don't look specifically Latin, right? But then...
Yeah, I can blend in.
When you contrast it over there, then you really stick out. You're like...
And when I spoke...
Oof.
Dead giveaway.
Dead giveaway.
We went to one of our friend's house, and everyone's sitting there, shooting the shit, talking, and then I say something, and they're like, "Wait, what? Say that again?" And then I kept talking. I repeated myself, and they're like, "You're not from here, are you? Where are you from?"
Not from around here.
I'm from Miami. Blah blah blah. So they're like, "Oh, that explains the accent." Got it.
English is not your first language. No, actually it is. But we are taught English in Miami as if it was a second language, because we want to make sure that everybody knows that part of the U.S. is inferior. So,
Whoa! I'm also from Miami. I wouldn't say inferior. I'd say we're in a different world, maybe a different country.
No, I'm just joking, but it is different. It is way different, and I don't even know the difference because I haven't. I don't even know. What?
Saying hi, we'd go and she'd introduce me to her friends. In Miami, you give a girl a kiss on the cheek when you say hi. I did that to a bunch of her friends, and they're like,
"This guy's abusing us."
No, he's trying to make out with me.
Yeah, there's a miscommunication.
Yeah, your girlfriend's over there, right?
When I meet different cultures, I like to do kind of like if I'm an Indian, like just like
the wave.
Especially now with the Rona. I don't want to say the name because then it seems like YouTube would demonetize the 3 views that I get. So, but no, it's sort of like you don't know if people are cool with shaking hands or anything. So you just like.
You're running baseball signs.
Yeah, but especially like when I moved to Spain, you gotta understand here they do 2 kisses. So imagine, and in Venezuela we do 1 kiss. So imagine the difficult situation that would happen when you approach someone, you give 1 kiss, and then you move out, and then they put their other cheek, and it's like a ninja dance where it's like, wow. So then I just got used to giving 2 kisses. And in Argentina, they give 3 kisses.
What the hell?
From what I hear.
And in France, they make out.
And then in Paraguay, they just fuck each other in the streets. So it's, it's a thing. It's progressive.
They handshake each other's dicks. Hey, how's it going?
They grab the scrotums. And they do I think there's a thing to it. Like there's a name for it in the gay community, but I don't have any of my gay friends around now to tell me about it. But there's things and names to it. But whatever. On our next segment. No, but so Adrian, I was asking my boy BJ regarding what were his preferences, and he said sexual preferences he doesn't have. He'll do a donkey, whatever. But to marry, he would prefer a Latino girl, just because the cultures and the values. What would be your answer?
Wait a sec. I even though I did say Latino, I also forgot to mention Latino but with English knowledge, because straight up Latino Spanish, no.
That's a bit racist to it, like to itself.
I guess you could say that,
It's
but
like hierarchy.
Wait, why would that be
somewhat.
racist if he can't communicate with his wife or not
right,
like comfortably?
like it's a communication issue. And
Nah, I'm just fucking around because you don't know Spanish that well, right?
No, I know Spanish really good. I mean, I think that it's really good, but
Just like there's parts of you that you want to express.
in reference to a mate, I would like to be able to make her laugh or giggle, and the majority of my references or of comedy have to be are in English. So
Well, you
imagine
know
trying
what?
to say a joke to
That's
a
funny that
person.
you say that because I kind of lack that. I mean, now that you say it, I might just break up. I mean, this is getting like, fuck.
I mean, it's not
I'm seeing
not a-
things here.
it's not like the
seeing-
only thing that I could consider, but it's
No. I've been feeling like something's just haven't been clicking. No, but I do have this thing. But you know what is weird because I also have this other world in Venezuela that I know of references there. So with my girl, I have all of that with the Venezuelan
Right.
culture, and then when I talk to you guys, I have all of the things over there. I mean, I just don't fuck you guys or decide not to yet. You get what I'm saying? Like, so
Right.
I guess I live both worlds, but I do know what you mean. Like, it is important to like be able to have those references and things. I think it's more of a context,
Right.
rather than like this or that. Like, it could be someone that's from India, but if they grew up in South Florida,
Right.
and they know Briscoe and the Opalacagoon, then they make it work.
Done deal.
if they know North Trail Park, that's it.
Yeah. If they burn a joint in the middle of the park in FIU and driven and driven your dad's Camry before you sold it,
Shut
fucking
up. It's a
okay.
Corolla.
He's like, shut up. Wait, it was a Corolla. And that shit got fucked up. Okay, so no, but so yeah, tradition. I just think sometimes, you know, like for example, here in Spain, right? I'm drinking a wine. Is it the beautiful wine from Spain? And this is, you know, I'm trying to let the thoughts flow, you know, and I'm trying to feel comfortable and make my guests feel comfortable because sometimes they fear saying the wrong things, right? Because there are some of you out there that are just looking to inflict pain, right? Because you have little fucking loser lives, right? And you want to fucking make others like have a worse life than yours, right? But the people here, they want to feel comfortable in saying things that they feel because at the end of the day, debate and ideas are created from fucking up sometimes and thinking the wrong things and then fucking, you know. So
Addressing it and correcting it.
yeah, so you know, like the way that culture works and the way what we qualify as being good or bad sometimes can vary, you know. Like here in Spain, they have a culture of killing bulls, right? And then you have the animal people that are very mad about it, and then you hear people that are in that culture and they actually give you, I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best argument, but they give you a good argument, like about how like this creates a business, this provides for a lot of families, and like, you know, the bulls wouldn't be like the rate you wouldn't have the bulls as you have them now, the population, if it wasn't because there was a business behind it, that was a tradition of bullfighting, and so it does get you thinking like, is it right for me to just be like, no, fuck your culture because we got to protect the animal, but then on the other side it's like, should we protect your culture to kill the animal? So it's I think these are important debates to have.
That kind of goes into the conservatories in Africa where they are funded by the hunters. Like the hunters go and hunt, let's say a lion or whatever animal that they want to hunt, and they pay X amount, and supposedly that money goes towards the conservation of that animal. So like towards the breeding, they fence them in a certain area so that they're secure, feed them, keep them safe, keep them fed, and then every once in a while, every time a hunter decides, he goes and kills them.
And that's actually fucked up because I looked into that, and even though it sounds contradictory, if there wasn't that, there wouldn't be any rhinos left, for example.
Right. They wouldn't survive.
So they're able to, for example, breed 100 rhinos a year, and they sacrifice 10 of them. But the 10 that they sacrifice, they charge $100,000 for each of them, which make them $1 million, which is able to provide weapons and protection because they need to protect these animals. Otherwise, they kill them for the tusk.
From the poachers,
Yeah. So it's crazy how in life there's things that might seem unmoral, but you have to sometimes think deeper. Like hunters, right? Like I used to be super against guns and like hunting and all this shit, and then I like people that hunt and only eat from what they hunt. Like I go to the supermarket and get bacon and get pork chops and get all this shit, and it's like it would be hypocritical for me to be like, no, I fuck hunting, when like I'm getting it already butchered up. So like I'm the worst in that chain. Now I'm not talking about people that go and hunt giraffes and lions for trophy. I'm talking about like Joe Rogan getting an arrow and a bow and arrow and hunting a deer and then chopping it off and making fucking sausages. Like I don't know, what do you think about that? Are you an animal lover or do you kill them?
If you're gonna do it that way, right?
Like the natural way.
The natural way. If you're gonna eat meat, yeah, the best thing to do is to go and put in the work and get it yourself, and you have this whole experience. I mean, it's an intimate bond between you and the animal. As messed up as it is that you're taking its life, but at least you're doing it in a humane way, or at least as humane as possible. You're doing it to feed yourself and your family. You're not just putting up their head on a wall. So if you're gonna go that route, yeah. That's
Yo, Fear, could you tilt your camera a bit more down? Because I'm not... Yeah, there. What do you think, BJ?
The situation arises where, like, let's say hypothetically speaking, we all go vegan. The whole world goes vegan, right? And there's no more cattle production, no more...
Crunchwrap Supremes.
No, I mean, they're still vegan. Like, I mean, you could still have vegan Crunchwrap Supremes.
Yeah.
But
Is that a Crunchwrap Supreme, though, BJ? And you be real with me.
Let's go with a Crunchwrap mediocre.
Okay, not Supreme.
No, I was playing. But the whole thing stems with the fact that so we're no longer hunting or eating these animals. Then there's no reason for us to be producing these animals. So I would think that they'd eventually go extinct. Like you're fighting for people not to eat these animals, but if that weren't the case, if we weren't eating pigs or we weren't eating cows, would they be being produced at that rate? No,
well, they wouldn't exist.
It wouldn't necessarily go extinct.
No, but like cows and pigs, as we know them today, they were made by us. Like they were bred by us to become like this mass-produced animal. And
they wouldn't go extinct.
There would be wild boars and shit.
But we'd put them like in a certain, like you just start pushing them away in a certain area and just let them roam free. If they die, they die. If they live, they live. Who cares? Because we're not eating them anymore, quote unquote. You know, in this hypothetical world where everyone's vegan.
Okay, so what's your point?
So then the PETA people are fighting. I mean, like, so we're fighting for the rights of these animals. So people like me, I guess, are fighting for the rights of these animals to not get eaten.
PETA, bitch.
But in doing so, we essentially terminate them.
Okay, so what you're saying is, if we don't eat them and just release them, they will just get owned by.
We need to eat them.
Yeah.
for their benefit. Not for mine.
I wouldn't go that far.
We need to eat them so that they at least have an experience of being born, then going through a little like belt, and then fucking getting chopped off by a Mexican who's being paid under minimum wage.
Well, no, because we're not even using them for belts anymore. We're not, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
There'd still be conservation efforts though. Just like we don't eat tigers and we take care of tigers and make sure they don't go extinct. I think more efforts we played into keeping them.
Yeah, you're saying like
but then we'd have them in a zoo. We'd have a cow in a zoo. We wouldn't have them in the wild. We'd have a chicken in the zoo.
I'll chop
we
that
would have them in the wild.
Straight up.
Like you understand that the zoo is basically like the last thing for them to exist, and then after that, it's
so you think it would be better if we open up the tiger market? Like just
they take a sample, and isn't the goal of the zoo that they collect enough money to then go into each certain into each animal,
Habitat?
into each wherever it may be, into for the conservation of that species.
Yeah, right.
In theory,
So you're saying that the Brooklyn Zoo is going to Africa and conserving?
maybe not for every single
tigers?
one, but I've been in the St. Louis Zoo, for example. Like they'll have stations where you can drop off or donate money for a specific cause for a specific animal, and then I guess they round up that money and they send it to whoever's leading the efforts for the conservation. Like I'm sure meerkats get fucked, but tigers get a shit ton of money. I don't know how they distribute the funds.
I hear the meerkats are getting too much funding recently.
we gotta cut back.
Fucking Timon.
Back on the meerkats. No, but I feel you. I mean, like, so isn't it hypocritical for people to criticize zoos? They're like, they're keeping them in there. Oh my god! But then, like, the zoos actually, in theory, give some of their earnings to like make sure that, you know.
Right, because then, like, what if we would eliminate zoos too? Like, let's say, it's inhumane to keep them in cages. They should be loose, lying around, like around in their own habitat. So then they ban zoos. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, and the same thing with SeaWorld. That whole shit. But I mean, the ocean is a different, the whole different
like,
beast.
Would you put it like in different categories, like a tiger? I mean, you shouldn't though, because even though the sea is vast. I mean, like, I don't know, like maybe Busch Gardens has it figured out, or like Animal Kingdom, where they have these big ass places and they sort of roam like if they were in the plains of Africa, even though they're in Kissimmee, Orlando, next to the fucking popcorn maker. But like I guess we're more uptight about like the orcas in SeaWorld, but then we don't give a fuck about, you know, beat the tiger in Animal Kingdom, you know, like fuck him.
Well, maybe what if we had a big enough fish tank for that orca? Would it be different?
Like what? Like the ocean?
I mean, yeah, but but also the Serengeti, like you're not gonna fit that shit in Animal Kingdom, so it's the same shit. Like I'm just saying, if people are gonna
but the tanks
uproar,
the tanks in SeaWorld like wouldn't be compared to the safari that they have in Animal Kingdom.
okay, that's true,
Like
right?
you don't have the equivalent there.
You don't have the equivalency.
I think what we're trying to get to is that sometimes people make a fuss and a big deal about something to try to cancel it, but they don't realize that in canceling that, the repercussions that plays into down the line for that animal or for that whatever cause that you're trying to do. Sometimes they canceling whatever that little aspect of that world actually detriments the entire livelihood of that animal species, so on and so forth.
In the case with the orcas in SeaWorld, though, from what
the orcas,
what I understand, they are being fucked. Actually, I don't know if SeaWorld still continues, but
I
I gotta look into the annual passes because they might be cheaper nowadays. But no, but I do get what you're saying. Like with a whale and shit, you gotta get a bigger pool. And,
a bigger pool.
And I guess with a lion, like the Animal Kingdom one is pretty straight.
No, and I mean not only whales, but like I mean they've found that with bears, with tigers. Like and then that's the other thing. Like certain animals have higher intelligence capacity. You know, like some animals are just running on instinct, but others animals like the octopus, they think. So imagine you thinking, be like, "Fuck, I'm stuck in this place for God knows how long. I've been here for years, for decades, and this is the same shit every day." You know,
I have Julie
going crazy.
Have Julie on my back.
Hot dog.
The next motherfucker that gives me a fish, I'm a fucking
He'd eat his ass.
and then they're like, oh, the octopus was sacrificed because he was being violent and shit. This motherfucker's been giving bars. What?
The issue is that they're having them perform, and that's why they canceled the circus, right? But the zoo hasn't gotten canceled because they're not doing anything; they're just being animals. But at SeaWorld, they expect the dolphins to do flips whenever they give them the fish, or they expect the orca to do the big splash.
Goddamn, do a flip, goddamn. Play your heart out, you little bitch. No, but do you think so? Also, the circus got canceled.
Yeah,
well,
there's
like
no more ringling.
Circus animals got canceled. So like the incorporation of animals in the circus, yeah, that's canceled. You could still have a circus. You could still have people flying around in trapeze and shit. But
like if you're gonna break your neck, you would bring your own.
Yeah,
right, exactly. Okay. But the lion can't consent to
sign a waiver.
You know, to being whipped and shit.
But every once in a while, the lion wins. And just rip some motherfuckers. neck
Damn.
off, right?
You heard about the one of the Siegfried and Roy guys died like, recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
From like a
Mauling?
No, I think just from being old. They're
so
old.
what the fuck is it? How is this relevant to it?
You talking about lions and lions winning sometimes reminded me of the Siegfried guy.
Because the lion won because he eventually died of being old. The lion lost, bro. The lion got fucked. This motherfucker should have got him mauled years ago. He died of old age. That's a win. That's a win for the men.
One of them did, I think.
Got mauled.
Yeah,
I mean,
But it
if you
survived.
do that shit, I mean, like
you're expecting it.
straight
Yeah.
up, like when I saw like the Tiger King and shit, like if you're fucking around with like animals like that, like part of me doesn't really. I mean, like it's horrible, but I wouldn't really feel bad. Like part of me is like, dog, you playing with motherfucking monsters. A tiger, a lion, that's a fucking killing machine. Like I find it insulting that you think that you could fucking have control over this beast. Like it almost makes me feel like, motherfucker, if you're playing around with fire, like no, because I was raised with a little guy. You don't give a fuck. You think this motherfucker signs to Facebook and watches reality shows? This motherfucker's there to maul people, dog. So it gets me pissed when you have like people like, yeah, or like a shark. No, like we know the essence of this. You don't know shit. This is an animal that's lived for thousands of fucking years. There's sharks that are 500 years old. You don't know shit. Telling me about like, no, the fucking sense of he's more scared of me than I'm scared of him. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Sorry
Do you
about
think
that.
what
I don't know
happened with
why
Steve Irwin was inevitable? It was like a poetic way to end his life.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't like talk shit about him. That's fucked. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. I don't know if he was too like edgy about it. Was he a bit like
He was really
I'm gonna
edgy.
stick my head in this beehive and see what happens. That was a great Dane Cook joke. I'm gonna open up this crocodile head, put my head inside, and see what happens. Did he do that bit before he passed? I would assume.
I would assume.
I'm assuming, yeah.
But then it doesn't really age well, right?
I mean, it's still funny that he would say something like that. But the thing is that the way he died I think it's situational, really. Like it was just by chance that really happened.
Yeah,
The way
it
he
was
died.
kind of like, from what I understand, I'm not a biologist, but it was sort of like a dumb death,
It was very dumb.
because like it was like a ray, right? Like a
Yeah, the
Uh-huh.
stingray's tail, I guess.
Stingray
Hit him
and-
right where it needed to sting him to like.
yeah, like
But-
like most of the times it wouldn't really get you in a trouble, but like this one just fucking was practicing for months and knew where to how to.
No, wasn't it that he jumped out of a helicopter and landed on the ray?
I don't know about that. That sounds crazy.
No, I think that was a mushroom trip you had. No, it was in the sea, right? And then the stingray. There's a video of it and everything. I've never seen it. I don't like. Are you the type of? You know what I don't like? Let me know if it, like. I don't like those videos of shit that happens to people. Like I don't like that shit.
When you say shit that happens to people like death,
Like world star, like world's hip hop world
Like
star, whatever.
Indian
like,
man
those
gets
type-
mauled by a tiger.
No, I mean
in
yeah,
random
no.
random
It
village.
depends. Like if it's like, I mean, depends. But I'm talking about just like man gets beat up, or yeah, like shit like that. I don't know, like Steve Irwin death. Like I'm not comfortable watching that. Like I don't like. I think that's disrespectful of it. But I do understand like the morbidity in the human mind. You know, like one time, you know, we were talking about in other episodes about cultures and people from the very rural places of South America and shit, or the Caribbean. And I was talking about how like, you know, you would meet people that are very village type. And sometimes we would go to these places to get meat, buy meat and stuff to bring back to the city. And it would just be like a day thing, right? That's actually a beautiful experience. Like I would buy like a case of beer and sit with the butcher, and like we would talk shit while he's butchering our meat and shit. And one time we went and my dad was gonna buy a whole boar.
a whole boar. Oh my god.
You know, so we went to this farm, and it's not like like a proper thing.
Like a
yeah,
professional.
I mean, like, this is just somebody's house in the plains
So,
and
somebody's backyard.
yeah, somebody's backyard, and they have a fucking boar there or a pig, and then they kill them in front of you, right? And that day they were teaching, like they were like initiating someone, like a younger one in the family to like kill the boars and shit. So this guy wasn't the most experienced, that he wasn't the biggest one. So when he, dude, I that day I realized how unfit I am for certain situations, right? Where like I was like, I can't even witness this pig being killed. They're tying him up, he's screaming. This guy grabs like a metal bar, he's gonna hit him in the head. I go somewhere and just like I try to like
you hear
cover my ears.
Like you hear the screams, but
I try to cover my ears, and then he hits him, so I uncover my ears. I'm like, okay, he's done. No, he hits him wrong.
Oh my god!
So the pig isn't dead, but he's just suffering. So he has to hit him again.
Crying. Oh my god,
dude! And the whole thing, and I'm just watching this, and I'm just like, oh my god! And I started thinking, how crazy it is that these people, this is normal to them. This doesn't even tickle their nuts.
Oh, this is not even normal. This is work. This is their job. Like, how many times do they have to do that? Like in a week or in a month?
Yeah, I mean, and if we go into the industrial setting,
oh my
I don't
God.
even want to go there.
No, I mean that happened to me in DR when I went last time. That it's a very common practice for them to, like the chickens, they'll grab them by the head and just do like this, and just smack them. And you're like, what the? Like I was shocked. I was like, what the fuck? I even screamed. I screamed when my aunt or my grandma went to go grab the chicken. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And then she goes, fuck, and then you see the chicken like, and it just falls over. Damn. And that's it.
That's vicious.
But you realize
the neck
how
breaks
vicious is life.
As you're spinning it, or just like once she smacks it on the ground,
right?
Then
it's the whole point. This is to break the neck, and then like a smack on the ground just to make just to make sure. Because sometimes like you do this and you let them go and then they might survive. Right. But if you do like this and then clap, done data.
Right?
Oh my god.
Right, but then if you go like something I can't watch either, like if you go to Animal Planet or whatever, and for some reason there's a market for this, but you see like these things where they're just showing a fucking like a gazelle running, and then a fucking tiger mauling it down, and they're like, and they have this British man in the background. The gazelle did not win this time, but in future you will understand that not running fast enough could take your life. You know that
you don't have to be the fastest.
The gazelle sitting there getting them all like, you know what? I understand. I get it now. I understand.
The gazelle.
Let's run it back.
God damn.
The gazelle's intestines is being devoured while he's alive, and he's like, I know, I get it now. The gazelle understood at that moment that death could come at any time.
You don't need to be the fastest, gazelle. Just not the slowest. There's consequences to be paid.
You could say evolution won.
Yeah.
What happened to BJ? Frozen time? The perfect face.
Yeah, the ones I always see are the crocodile ones. Where the animals like innocently going to drink some water. And then that motherfucker, look at him looking. Yeah, just brings it down, and then it does the gator roll.
And then it does the gator roll, dog. Don't fuck with the gator, dog. Just
goes right down under.
There was one recently of like a cheetah. It was like a young cheetah, and he was drinking.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That's
the
fine.
internet just came and went. Thanks a lot, motherfucker.
Yeah, you gotta get better internet.
Dude, I have 500 megs. Or 500 gigs? No.
Yeah, it's gigs.
So I have 500 gigs.
That's pretty good. But they don't work.
But they don't work?
I have 500 gigs. Intermittently.
Throughout the year.
Intermittently.
No, it's like having like an 18-inch dick, and every time you get an erection, you pass out.
And giving a curse.
Isn't that like a movie?
I don't know. No, I think that's real life.
Because there's so much blood going to the dick.
Exactly.
You're done.
You fucking.
What's going on? You think it's all fun and games having a big dick?
What time is it? Oh fuck.
Damn.
Is it all fun and games? I mean, bigger than what? Like 12?
Chicks get
Bigger
scared,
than 9?
no?
Like
Bigger than
just-
6?
Like just big. I don't
Bigger
know.
than 3?
I mean, who's counting? You know.
Like who's counting? I'm counting. Fuck.
Shit, I'm counting every little,
Shit.
every fucking millimeter. Or inches if you're in the Americas.
Oh man.
Okay, uncomfortable.
Next.
No, but with cultures, like, for example, there's a practice in certain places of Africa where they cut the clitoris of the girls, which is like
my
a horrible
God.
thing, right? But that's a cultural thing. Like, how far do we take? Like, do we say, okay, no, we allow this because it's traditional, but from here on, no, because we need to progress too.
I don't know, man. Because that seems like that's pretty.
Did I shift that from fun and games to like
That is
like
pretty
fucking
serious.
ONG was good?
I'm just trying to look into why
You
they
googling this in the Caspian
Yeah.
Sea?
Well, in that case, you gotta respect
No.
the woman, right? Like she can't. You're just gonna mutilate her.
because I'm trying to like understand like why is this being done? I think it's a religious thing.
Yeah, it's a religious thing. Like, cause like you shouldn't be
fucked
able
up.
to feel pleasure or some shit. Like, or like I don't know.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's really fucked up. I mean,
Does-
I think
Do
so.
women? I mean, it's gonna sound like a dumbass question, but do women agree to this?
Yeah, they signed a fucking release form.
No, because they are in the religion, right? And they're like,
I mean,
whatever, you know,
this is the problem.
sacrifice
though.
that I need to
A
make.
lot of them, from what I understand, I might be talking shit, so I'm sorry. I don't want to offend anybody, but from what I understand, like when you're grown into that culture, it's sort of you don't really have you don't even have this thought of like, do I have a choice here? No, like I do it willingly because to me, this has always felt like the right thing. So it's almost like, in my experience, or my experience, in my opinion, it almost feels like it almost feels like they're trapped. I don't like they don't know about, you know, like even if they are willingly doing it, I'm not sure if they're making that choice. Really, does that make sense?
Yeah, because they've been influenced for so long that they feel like they don't have a choice.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like women that are hit by their husbands, but then they're like, no, you know, that day I just wasn't. I didn't cook
I had it coming.
pasta right. You know, I didn't put enough Parmesan cheese. You know, which I hate.
damn.
I
That's
hate
harsh.
that shit.
I'm putting in the keeps. I'm putting in the keeps right now.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see it there. That is the toolkit that they use for that process.
Damn. Fuck.
in Africa.
It almost
Found
looks
a
like
toolkit?
like you're just gonna cook crack or some shit. But it's way worse.
It's way worse. And then I'm also gonna share a
You
link.
probably get that on Amazon. You get into it.
That's fun. Hey, I'm a top off on the wine. Can you continue to talk and be entertaining? Like this is part of my this is my career.
This is your job now.
His livelihood. His livelihood depends on it.
Damn. But yeah, but looking into the article, I mean, shit, like I'm trying to understand why, and
It should
I
say if
just
it's a
don't-
religious practice or not. Because if it
And
is,
one of
then that gets even trickier, right? Like, how do you go against the religion? Is it
Right.
the government's job to intervene at that point? How do you even approach
Yeah,
that?
because then are you limiting the rights of the religion to act freely or whatever, which is bullshit in my opinion.
If the woman is consenting, like, what more can you do? Force them not to? 'Cause
I
if you
mean,
take-
that's like what you say.
is I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
I can just kind of imagine the reverse, like male mutilation, like us cutting off, like them cutting off the head or some shit.
Circumcision?
Yeah, no.
Oh, you're saying like
Circumcision is
actually?
like cutting off like the head,
Okay, yeah, okay.
because the whole thing is that they're cutting off the sensory part. They're cutting off the clit so that you don't feel. You still
There's no
you still
pleasure in this
urinate. You
anymore.
still yeah.
This is only to reproduce. You're not gonna enjoy this. You will not enjoy this.
I'm not your husband, and you're not gonna enjoy this. Wow. I mean, it seems to me like it's archaic for them to still be doing this practice. That hurts me in my soul, just to know that this still goes on.
Where does this happen?
It sounds like it's in Africa, mostly. But I think it's also I mean, I might be saying something wrong, but I think it's also a Muslim practice, more so than a Catholic or Christian practice. Because I do see a lot of them with the hijab in the picture.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that it was like an indigenous tribe that would practice something like that. Man, if it was the other way around,
Oof.
equally brutal.
And sorry, not Muslim religion. Islam. Muslim is the person. Islam is the religion.
But you can't do it the other way around, right? Like,
You can, but you just won't. I don't think you. I don't know.
because then if you cut the males, get the dick off, like, then you can't procreate.
right.
Well, they cut the tip in Jewish communities.
Yeah, but like we're saying, like if it was
Yeah, but you don't have to be Jewish for that to happen. And that technically still is considered mutilation.
It
Right?
is. You know the reason why it's common practice to have circumcision in the U.S. because most doctors are Jewish. I'm saying that as a fact.
Right.
It's my assumption, but
I thought it was
makes
just
sense.
like hygiene.
Makes sense.
I thought it was just hygiene.
no, that's fake. I'm not circumcised and I'm fucking clean. You piece of shit.
but it is for hygiene. That's why people
No, it
do
isn't.
it.
That's a myth. It's for religious purposes.
Both.
Both.
An excuse that people use to use it if they're not Jewish, of Jewish descent or Jewish tradition. Is
Yeah, I mean, that's
for
what they do
hygiene,
because
like,
they're already been mutilated. But like I haven't been mutilated. I clean my shit. I can give a tutorial on it.
That'll be the next video.
how to clean smegma.
Are you guys?
Oh my god.
Well, more than clean smegma, I have no smegma.
Okay.
Right.
Well, that's good.
Now, do you think like are you guys comfortable enough sharing your circumcision situation? Are you more of the Jewish side or
No, I'm not on the Christian side.
you're more on the Christian side? Okay, your mama made a good choice. What about you, BJ?
I don't know if I should feel lucky or not, but I'm not Jewish, but I'm more leaning towards the Jewish side, I guess. in
Oh,
that
really?
aspect. Yeah.
Okay. That's odd.
Yeah.
So
I
you
thought
don't
your
have
mom
to-
was a Christian woman.
So John doesn't have to clean.
She is, but I
Are
don't have
you-
to clean.
Are you have to clean? I mean, that doesn't really. That's not a comforting.
I mean, and I
It's
still,
like-
still clean it.
And because
but,
of this, I never clean it. It's good, so.
Water
It's
hits
not
and it
tracking.
goes away.
yeah,
Slides right
I
up.
think having the hood gives you more, more shelter, and because of the shelterness of it, it's more sensitive to the tact. In your case, it's always open, in the weather. So it's like
in the weather.
it's more like the back of a hump whale where it's been like cut and like it's had propellers run through it. While as if you have the hood, it's more like you have that little protector. It's sort of like a Palpatine from Star Wars. Like you,
But
the words.
But then would mine be a little bit tougher? It could weather a little bit more resist. Like it has more resistance.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
some
I would
elements.
assume if you wanted to use it like as a weapon, but for sexual purposes, I believe you will be
Well,
you will have erectile dysfunction earlier.
If I go into that room with Ronda Rousey, I gotta be careful, right? With the praying mantis.
I'll fuck you up. No, but you
So-
like what I'm saying is you probably have erectile dysfunction earlier because you feel less. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
You just get like
But at conversely, like he also lasts longer then.
that's true. So now it benefits him.
Right. So like while
But
you can
until-
have sex,
When he's 60, he won't be able to get an erection. But while he can, he will last longer. And
Interesting. See, I
so,
didn't
yeah.
see it that way.
So what I would recommend is at 60, you get a vagina installed. And then just, fuck around with that. See what the next 40 years bring you.
Okay, what if I like for guys like me
You can do
that didn't have a choice to because I didn't choose to get my hood
Yeah, you were
removed.
born with it.
Should I develop like an attachment to help with that,
Well, you should have, you should be part of a minority.
like a pseudo hood?
Although you
for-
probably are majority in the U.S. and me and Fear are the minorities. Actually, we should be compensated for some shit like that, being the hoods ones. Like now, BJ, if the operation was available, would you get a rehooding, like with skin of the same tone and everything?
I would like to see what it's like because I've never know what it's like having the
You ever
hood.
seen one?
Oh, I've seen one.
Okay. Hey, do you like it better, or you just wouldn't know what it feels like? I'm saying for you.
I would want to know what
you.
I would I would want to know what it feels like having one.
Okay. Maybe you could get like one that you can put on and take off.
That's what I was saying. Like create one for people like me. Like, create a business where I develop hoods for people like me. Of the
Okay. When
Jewish
you say
descent.
people like you, I mean, it sounds like a bit of a Jewish descent.
I was saying of like people like me in the sense that were circumcised and never from birth and never known what
That
it's
were
like
born
to have
in
a hood.
a hospital where the general practitioner was a Jewish man. And they said this Latin boy will know the teachings of the.
Judaism.
Yeah, sorry. I should have more information when I'm doing these jokes. I should know more.
I shouldn't know.
Okay, well that's good to know. One of the things I wanted to get clear and clarify today is your penis situation. So that's
Well, thanks
that's
for
comforting.
that. Yeah, great.
yeah, it's been a great experience. Anything
That's
else?
weird that they do it.
You guys
It's weird
wanted
that they do it to
touch
people
on
that
anything that's
aren't.
been fucking with your mind?
It's weird that they do it to people that
What?
aren't Jewish. Because don't you have to be of Jewish descent to be Jewish? Like you can't just turn into Judaism.
Yeah, but I mean, having a circumcision doesn't make you Jewish.
Right, but how does that
You can
practice
ask
even
John.
go into
John,
anybody
do you
else?
feel it?
Right, but how does that even? Why would you
Well,
have you ever
dude.
asked your mom why she did it?
Yeah, that's a comfortable conversation.
I could ask
Why'd you
her
mutilate?
if you want me to. But
Can you ask her now live?
now live? Yeah.
I mean, this
Do you
would
want me to?
this could be the clip that takes my shit to another level. Yeah, bring her in and just ask her don't tell her
my
what it's
God.
gonna be about,
I have
and
to
just tell
call
her you're
her.
gonna ask her. Okay. And because I really want to know, I'm interested to know, does she have a reason? She's like, oh, I wanted you to, yeah, it looked bigger or some shit. I don't know. More presence, or was it that the guy just had it in his hand with a scissors? Should we do it? Confirm.
Maybe it wasn't even her choice. He just went for it.
He's like he just did it, and I was like, oh my god, what you did?
The excuses that I've heard for it is cleanliness, and it just takes after the father.
Just what? Takes after the father?
Yeah, whatever your dad has is why they decide what you're gonna have.
All right, so she's
That's
not picking
stupid.
up.
All right.
Do you want me to go get her
All right, just ask her later and
put it in the comments?
It's not a big issue. I mean, if you think you can make. Yeah, if you could get her, I mean, if it's not a big deal, then yeah, I mean, I think that would be a good
good
thing
addition.
to clarify.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I think it's important. This is the type of things. This is the type of like talk that we need to have in America these days to solve the situation and get the two sides united. Not Biden's in power. We need to talk about scrotums and fucking circumcisions.
We're getting down to it. And the next question, when he comes back, I'm gonna ask him if she still has it.
The piece?
Like a memento somewhere, like sitting somewhere in a binder.
A memento. Just a little fucking folder as she got professionally made with fucking John Scrotum that nowadays should be like brown. No, scrotum will be on your balls. This will be just like a piece of
Flap,
like
flap
the
of skin.
Yeah, like a little flap. Oh fuck, dude.
They had that. They did that in Meet the Fuckers. They were going through his book,
Yeah.
and it came out, and they ate it and shit. All right, we're getting down to the bottom of this. I saw her.
Do you think your mom? Oh fuck. We got it.
Down to the nitty gritty.
I think like in the US you gotta ask to not get it cut. Like by default, if you don't say shit,
They'll ask you.
you think?
Well, I know. I have two boys.
Oh right,
Yeah.
right. You have experience. They asked you.
Yeah, they ask. They ask.
Could I ask what the?
Wait up.
Poco.
Aló.
¿Qué tú quieres? ¿Para qué me llaman?
No, porque
¿Me van,
quería-
¿Me van a hablar de Biden o qué?
No, de Biden no. Queríamos preguntarte una pregunta.
Mira.
No sabía que yo te iba a poner directo, ¿no? Ya me pone más tenso.
Mira, no te hagas el baboso. No
Mira
te hagas el baboso.
que yo-
Usted le quiere hacer falta una pela.
Mira, John dice que él o sea, su situación genital es que le cortaron el gorrito cuando era pequeño. Y entonces que nosotros queríamos saber porque ¿sí?
¿Ustedes qué tienen nada que ver conmigo con eso? ¿Ese es su problema de él?
Claro, pero él no los contó. Entonces, queríamos saber si eso es algo que uno decide en el momento o si es algo más de cómo fue esa decisión y por qué.
Eso fue la decisión del doctor, no fue de nosotros.
Ah.
El doctor vino y nos dijo que era importante hacer esa operación a él ahora, en ese momento que estaba pequeño, porque no iba a tener mayores consecuencias después.
¿Pero por qué? ¿Porque era muy grande o qué era?
Creo que fue decisión de él, no me acuerdo qué fue lo que...
¿Era judío
dijo
el
a
doctor?
nosotros. No, ese era nicaragüense.
Ah, ok.
El doctor Lacayo.
Ah, ok, eso fue recomendación del doctor.
Sí, no fue de nosotros.
Ok, perfecto. Bueno,
¿Y en qué ustedes quieren aliviarle la pena a John Jairo? John
No,
Jairo
sino
que
que
es un
ahorita que
vago,
estamos-
Mira, déjame decirle una cosa. Él
Sí.
lo que es un vago y recostado, que lo que quiere es estar aquí, que le hagan todo. Entonces, después no quiere que yo entre al cuarto a joder.
porque es que estamos ahorita grabando cosas que tal vez nos vuelvan famosos.
¿Cómo ustedes van a estar grabando cosas de John Jairo para que se hace famoso? Por favor, ¿ustedes no quieren tener una enemiga mortal?
¿Por qué?
Para ustedes volverse famosos, dejen de estar pendejeando y vámonos para allá arriba para Ocoa, para San José, para Santo Domingo. Vamos a hacer un proyecto turístico y dejen de estar en la televisión y en la computadora que se van a morir, ¿eh?
Ok, tomamos el consejo.
Se van a poner viejos. No, Adrián es el único que tiene como 2 o 3 muchachos.
Sí,
Todavía solo con
Adrián.
dos. Solo con dos, por ahora.
dos, pero
Mira cómo te tienen cargo.
en cualquier momento saca el
Mira cómo-
tercero.
Mira cómo lo tienen cargo en la cabeza y en el bolsillo.
Es así, es difícil.
Adrián, ¿cómo está tu mami?
Bien, bien.
Gracias
Ahí,
a Dios.
tranquila.
¿Y
Nos
tú?
quedamos en casa.
¿Y tú cómo estás en España?
Yo estoy,
Él sabe que es a él.
yo estoy bien aquí. La vida europea por
¿Estás-
ahora. Sin
¿Estás
saber qué va a pasar.
casada? ¿Estás
Sí,
casado?
bueno,
¿Estás
casi.
soltero?
Casi. Tengo casi esposa, sí.
Ay, casi esposa. Mira que son unos pan mamados. Bueno, anyway, de todas maneras yo los quiero mucho, los respeto porque son amiguitos de John. Aunque ustedes vean el paquetero que le hago, pero es que le encanta todo ese rollo. Él es que me llama para que yo le dé cuando está hablando con ustedes.
No, y a nosotros nos gusta cuando conversa con nosotros porque también la queremos y es ameno hablar. Así que
Gracias. Yo le hago un poco de paquete, pero bueno, ¿qué se va a hacer? Tú sabes cómo es. Entre Johncito, Verónica y Mila quieren terminar de acabar con mi existencia los tres.
así
No,
es.
no puedo contar con el papá porque el papá, esos colombianos son machados.
Bueno,
Para ese no hay espacio. Ahí no hay
disfrútelo.
manera de uno meterse ahí, ¿oíste? Salúdame a tu mamá y a tu papá, ¿ok?
Vale, un besito. Chao.
Ok, igual.
Bye.
Los veo por allá, por Santo Domingo.
Vale, Santo Domingo.
Espero que la pandemia no deje llegar.
Eso
Ya nosotros
también
estamos
digo yo.
cortando tomate. Ya nosotros estamos
También digo
cortando
yo.
tomate. ¿Oíste? Ya estamos cortando tomate
jodido.
nosotros ya. Dale. Toma, quítate tú de ahí, concho. ¿Dónde está mi teléfono?
Ahí está, arriba.
Ay, jodiendo.
Yeah.
Alright.
Te pongas a hablar de ti y qué cosas de que cuando tú eras chiquito y nada. Y ahí lo que se pongan ellos.
Damn.
Damn.
That went worse than expected. So, for people that don't understand the languages of the South American plains, pretty much what I was explaining is that John got the tip of his penis removed by doctor's decision and recommendation. So it wasn't a religious decision. We wouldn't say that you're in the route to become Jewish, but
No.
at the
That was the case.
time, maybe the size or thickness of it made it just more logical to have that extra part removed and make it more fit in between amongst the village men.
Possibly. Maybe the doctor at the time saw that it was the foreskin might have been too extended, like too out there.
Like an extra large hood.
Right.
Could be.
Because you know me.
A lot of growing room.
He didn't want to let it grow too much.
Okay, well that was weird enough. But yeah, that's the type of stuff that we're talking about here. I mean, that's the different cultures as you could see there, and that's the beauty of life. You know, the mixture. She was talking about your dad being Colombian and how he was hard on some things. So like you could see even between Latin people, there are differences. The Caribbean people like Venezuelans, Dominicans, more into the rum, more into the loud talking. Then you got Colombians and Ecuadorians on the other side, a bit more, not as loud, but so you got different things going on there, and it's a big melting pot. But they all make tamales, and they put something inside, and at the end it's all wrapped in plantain leaves, and they call it different things. But at the end of the day, it's just meat on a stick, right? Or
Meat, flour, and rice. Yeah, like a mixture of meat, flour, rice,
in a bag,
potatoes, in a pouch.
in a pouch.
And a pouch to go. That shit fills you up all
know-
day.
What?
It'll fill you up all day. Un tamal. It's made for you to go to eat that in the morning and go work on the farm.
And then
Right
out.
Carbs, all your fats, all your
That's a
protein.
bit. Like one thing I saw some like little meme today where it showed like indigenous people, and it said like indigenous people like in the Amazon or something like that, right? And it showed like they had no worries or stress of phones, jobs, politics, this and that. They just lived freely and happily until we came, right? It was one of these like Greta, like how dare you, like.
How dare you?
I remember I think I shared it and I put something like Like they used to sacrifice their children's, like so that it would rain and shit, and gut them alive. Like what I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying there hasn't been horrible things done in the past, but people sometimes idolize certain things when they don't know, like horrific things happen in many cultures and in many times. Like when they try to judge things like in the 1600s when like people colonized this and that. Like back then it was Game of Thrones. It was dragons and shit. They had dragons. I mean, it's facts.
Right, of course.
So like Lord of the Rings and shit came from those times. Like it was that like
sort
you
of
go to the north side and the
dragon sorcerers. Yeah.
More of a history lesson when you watch the shows.
yeah, like Warcraft. Where do you think that came from? History. 1300s England.
Harry Potter, even further back
is
than that.
Is it history or her story?
Mm.
I was saying, I'm messing.
I'm sorry.
Damn.
I'm sorry about that. I couldn't. For the integrity of the show.
I know. Shut up. I know. Shut up. I know.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, so it's getting pretty boring now, right?
I mean, I don't know about boring, but it feels like it's coming to the end.
To the end of something, right? I've been saying this, like, it feels like the world is, I don't know, it feels like at any moment just, they, like, with the whole thing going on, they say there's a new variation everywhere, the South African variation, the English variation, the Brazilian variation. Do you think we're just going to live now in a state of, in the world, like, where just things are just, like, tense, like, we're, like, this, like, a thing always just among us, just fucking with us?
I mean, I feel like there's always been something fucking with us, but now it's in the U.S. Because remember, like before, we had things that going on in Africa, we had things going on in China, things going on in Europe, but it never hit home. I mean, as far as us in the U.S. For I don't know about you in Spain, but now that it's actually here and it's among us, I mean, it's starting to get tense,
Well, Kiko, we were talking
I heard
about it last week.
there's
There's
a new there's another flu showing up in pigs again in China, and then obviously the African variations, the mutations. I mean, this is kind of like where we go into virology about the study of viruses, and the more you allow a virus to procreate, the more you allow it to mutate. That was the issue with closing down early. If you're able to close down early and contain it, good for you. It doesn't do that much. But if you allow it to spread it and allow it to propagate from person to person, because every time that so a virus hijacks a cell, then it reproduces. It creates copies of itself, but each copy is different, but similar. Like when you have offspring, every offspring is not going to be the same as the previous one. Every child is not going to be the same. They have
wouldn't
different
you also
genetic
say
variations.
that as humans and masses, we also get better at attacking back, and that the virus could lose strength along the way?
Interesting. If the only way for it to lose strength along the way is if the people that it's infecting are dying before that person can infect somebody else. Because the whole thing is that the virus, in its nature, is to spread. So it spreads throughout the body. Then it jumps from host to host. Then it spreads in that body, and then host to host, like that, so on and so forth.
Yeah, but what about it gets to a body and that body handles it a bit better and almost kills it, and then the virus jumps to someone else but weaker, and each time it's just less harmful. Because I don't know, I guess it would have to jump from strong body to strong body, because it jumps from strong body to weak body. The weak body gets taken over, and then if it jumps from a strong body that almost fucked it up, right? Like almost fucked up the virus up, then the virus goes to the weak body, and the weak person survives because the virus is a bit weaker than it would have been otherwise.
So you're saying when it replicates,
See,
it replicates weaker? Wouldn't it just go back to the original strength that it was? When it's replicating, it's a whole nother.
No, because there's also the viral
replication.
count, right? Like the viral load.
Uh-huh.
Like the virus jerks off and then it shoots a load. The viral load, depending on how big it is like if somebody just like kind of like sprinkles in your face,
But
then you get a
that's
little
how-
viral load. If
that's
somebody
how much you're
spits on your
getting
face
of it.
because you went into like a really
no.
crazy night.
No, like spits in your mouth or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, like if somebody spits on your mouth because you went to a alternative, club where they do mescaline and face spitting, then you got a big viral load from that fucking
Right.
girl. So then you might have a bigger damage
Chance.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but there's gonna be more little virus cells fucking with you, rather than if you just have a little, somebody just passed by and sprinkled a little bit.
Right.
I mean, this is coming from
And then-
somebody
and
that
then
has
one
no
person-
idea of what the fuck, like.
And then that person that gets it in their body creates the variation and then spreads it to somebody else. Because the variation comes from the reproduction.
Okay, so you're saying when your reproduction becomes stronger, I say it could be weaker. We're
No,
both wrong.
not stronger.
different.
I didn't say
It's
stronger.
different.
I said different. Or the same. It could be the same. It could be different. Like there's small little genetic changes.
Okay, that says a lot, John. It's like it could be the same or it could be different. It could be weaker or it could be stronger.
It could be anything.
It could be anything.
Right. I mean, it could even replicate a version of itself that just dies like on its own. Like it'll replicate a non-working cell and then it just self-destructs and then that's it. That happens too.
Okay.
But
Are you the virologist
it's
from
making-
Jurassic Park?
I'm the resident science person in this room, I guess. The resident virologist.
On another topic, even though we know that the science community
We just jump in.
watches at this podcast for like important information. Do you think things are gonna
For
be
their
better
news.
now? You think things are gonna be better now in the U.S. that Trump is gone, Biden's back, or not back, but kind of back, right? He used to be there, and now he's
Right.
He's a president. Do you think things are gonna be calmer at least because Trump is not in office and people are not freaking out, or do you think we're gonna have now the other side, like what do you think things are gonna be better now or worse?
I think in the immediate future, like relative, like 3 months, first 3 months, we're gonna see it improve in the sense that people are gonna start getting more money from the economic stimulus. People are gonna be less conflictive because of the fact that Trump isn't tweeting anymore, and the issue is that we still don't have jobs and the virus is still out there. I feel like if the country were to close down, that would be detrimental. The country enforcing a federal mask mandate, I think, helps to a certain extent. But the only way to really, I guess, either we go all in and just let everybody get exposed, or we try to stay home, I guess. But that's not gonna work.
So you think like it's just getting to the point?
I think it's already past the point where staying home is gonna do anything.
Because what you're saying, even though it's sad and not optimistic, it seems like even with the restrictions, it's just non-stoppable. So
did it ever have a chance of doing anything if it wasn't like contained from jump?
I think there is a purpose of like locking people down strictly if you're gonna put measures in place once you know who's infected and who's not. The thing is, I believe that even though I wanna like blame governments, for their inefficiencies, and there's some of that as well, it's like try to think the amount of capital, human capital, monetary capital, and just mental capital, to figure out a plan on how to like use the information. Like you lock down a country for 15 days, and you're able to know who has it or not doesn't have it in theory, right? Because of the symptoms. And then the people that do have it, you track them and who they were before, so that you can test those people, and you track everybody's movement, so that you, like, imagine the amount of work that takes, of man work, of money, so that's what you should do if you lock everybody down, because that's the action that's gonna allow you to. But then nothing is done. It's just like we lock it down, and then we open up again, and then when they go up again, we lock it down, and it's just like, to me, it's just like putting, what's the phrase in English? Like, you're just like putting your finger to block the sun, or like the dam is breaking and you're just putting little patches on the holes, but eventually, like, so
It's still gonna break.
yeah, like, I mean, I don't know how hard this thing is to figure out, but I would think that in a year, governments would have figured out a way to live with this in a more harmonious way, where like the economy could continue. Especially in Europe, it's really fucked. If you think the US is fucked, with Florida being very conservative and fucking fuck the virus type shit, here in Spain, man, like, things are just being destroyed. Like, businesses, like, I'm scared. Like, I'm literally scared. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen regarding jobs and shit.
What? When you're saying being destroyed, you mean like being shut down?
Well, yeah,
Like
they're just going
not being able
bankrupt because they cannot open.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess I'm worried about it. I'm scared of the virus, but I'm also scared of what could happen if we just lock everything forever and we don't allow people to work.
Yeah. Locking down, I think, is no longer useful. It would have been useful in the beginning when it first started, and in order for that to work, everybody has to be on the same page. Like, when I say everybody, I mean like the whole, like every country would have to have lockdown for the same 15 to 30 days. And I think that would have been more cost efficient to lock down 30 days, the entire world, and track whoever's getting whoever's fucked up and whatever, than to, like, somebody locks down, but then everybody else is still open. And then that person locks down, and then they're okay. So like whoever has it is migrating from place to place because their area is locked down.
He's gone.
To another
They're like, fuck it,
dimension.
this place locked down. Let me go somewhere else.
You said too much.
Like, this place locked down. All right, let me go somewhere else.
That
It's
far
not.
ahead in time.
He fast forwarded a couple years.
He moves too fast for us.
But no, we're like, this is coronavirus is the new flu, bro. This we're living with this. Like, this is gonna be with us for the rest of our life.
Okay, we've heard of people that are dying of this, that have died, and people that you would say maybe, damn, they're not that old, or but then you hear, like, for example, in Spain, there's been 55,000 deaths since this whole thing started because of that. But then you start looking at cancers, deaths per cancer, deaths per like heart disease, and it's like, they're huge numbers too. It's like, it just puts me in a weird situation where some of the information makes me be alarmed, like, this is a fucking death wish, and then on the other side I'm like, this is like falling statistically along with other diseases. So it's like,
the issue with comparing it to other diseases is that cancer isn't transmissible. High blood pressure isn't transmissible. It's even correctable. Diabetes isn't transmissible.
Well, cancer isn't.
It's correctable.
He's gone.
None of those
He's
are.
going-
I mean,
he's again.
I mean,
to the next.
Well,
Well,
I mean, like it.
yeah, but cancer isn't like, you cannot. I mean, I guess everybody says if you're healthy and shit, cancer is less, common. But but yeah, you could say high blood pressure. Yeah, like if I didn't eat so many pizza pies, I could help that. But cancer is just luck,
Oh, you're saying cancer is incorrectable? Yeah, no, cancer is not correctable.
or
sometimes.
preventable.
Right, or
Like,
preventable.
it's just luck, the luck of the draw.
right.
So then why
right.
aren't we like alarming about it and fucking getting the fix of that shit right away if so many people are dying of it? Like, Why aren't we?
because of how random it becomes. Like how random
but
is
then,
it
but
that some
we
people get
should
it, some people don't.
then we should be even more alarmed. Like,
Should we
need-
focus more on a treatment than a vaccine? Because once we already have a treatment in place, like we do if you get diagnosed with cancer and high
Exactly.
blood pressure.
That's what I'm
like-
talking about. Like, why don't we have something in place that can ease the situation until we fucking find an answer to it? Because, dude, we cannot close another year.
So then rather than get a vaccine to kill the coronavirus, you're saying to have a vaccine to mitigate
Or
the
to have
symptoms
a-
of the
a
coronavirus.
treatment plan.
Like a treatment plan so that
medication,
you don't die.
A
of it.
treatment plan.
Right.
Right. So you have it, but you don't die.
Yeah, you'll go through it, but at least we now know that the combination of these drugs are gonna save your life.
Yeah. Like I'm flabbergasted. I hope I'm using that correctly. At the fact that they don't have that treatment. Like I'm not saying kill it off the face of the earth, but why haven't you figured out how to fucking make this better? Like to draw, like to make the difference between somebody that would have died otherwise.
Or maybe
Yeah, like
have it for cheap.
Uh-huh.
'Cause the whole thing with Trump, right, is that he got it and then in 2 days he was good because he has the money to be flown out to the best hospital for the best treatment plan or whatever the hell.
So that means that it does
It's
exist.
possible. It's just getting it.
Or do you think he just got lucky?
well,
Do you think he even
I
got
mean-
it?
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
I mean, we have to that would have to be we have to research what is it that the coronavirus does from the onset to the end, like from beginning to end. What is it doing to the person?
If Elon Musk,
and how
if
can we
Elon
treat that?
Musk is sending Ferraris to Mars, we should fucking have something that helps this shit not kill the person that gets it. At least most of them. And I don't know if
See, but the people, I don't know if the people are thinking that way, like you are.
what shouldn't they? What the fuck? Like shouldn't that be the number one priority worldwide? Like make this shit be tolerable to the point where we can at least have like economy work.
Because they're not thinking that way. They're not thinking long term. They're thinking short term. They're thinking, I don't want to die. But they're not thinking, well, look, if this is permanent, if this is continuous, if this is going to be constantly, like we're already at 400,000 deaths and I don't know how many million people in the U.S. and
400,000 deaths?
We should have already thought at least and going up.
The other day I heard like 25 to 30 million people had it. And I was like, that's 10% of the country? Almost. That's...
But 25 to 30 million had it in the U.S. or in the world?
No, in the U.S. But I don't know if it's people that had it or currently have it. But...
No, let's say it's the whole, like, have had it at one point in time and are no longer a case. But that's still a lot.
It
10%
does,
of the
it does
entire
make it does
population.
make the death rate look better. The fact that,
But we're still
0.5%.
we still come into agreement. We still come into agreement that only 3% of the population is dying, even with however fucked up it is.
that a lot of people, you're saying a lot of people are dying.
No, 3% of the population of people that get it.
Would you consider that to be like low?
I don't know what you base that off of.
Oh, like how many people have it?
No,
or
base
have
that like
gotten
in
it, and
comparison
how many-
to like what is a percentage of a flu killing somebody or whatever.
Yeah, like for example, I don't know. I wouldn't know if
losing 3 fingers.
what.
Wait, no, sorry, no, 3%. No, losing a piece of your finger.
Yeah, but 3% of the people that get it. That's not 3% of the population.
Mhm. Oh, okay. So let's
So it's
say
like it's a very small
that-
percentage of the population, and a very.
So let's say you're
saying in comparison to other ailments,
well. Let's go with
other illnesses, like is 3% a high number? Is like
Mm.
is 0.5%?
Yeah, like for example, to give you an example figure, for like with there was the Mars disease, like that what happened in the Middle East. I think it had like a 20%.
MRSA.
You had like a 20% death rate, maybe. and then
Ebola was
malaria
up
or
there too,
Ebola
right?
had like a 50% death rate. But the thing is, apparently, them having a much higher death rate made it less transmissible, because and also the death was quick. Like you wouldn't last 2 weeks with it. So it almost
Like, yeah, it'd be like 3 days.
yeah,
or
it
some shit.
almost helps the Rona that is not as deadly, because then it allows itself to spread a lot more. So it's fucking.
The asymptomatic part of it is also a motherfucker. You
Yeah.
walking around not knowing that you have it, passing it along to people.
I mean, it's a motherfucker, but it also gives you hope that you could have it and not die. But it doesn't help you knowing if you have it and not spreading it. Right.
Yeah, but you could be going around just a little time bombs, giving everyone, dabbing them up, giving them hugs, infecting the population.
It's a hard one.
So yeah, you think the focus should be on treatment rather than the vaccine? I think they're trying to nip it at the bud with the vaccine.
I think you should keep working on the vaccine, but for now, let's get like a quick solution. That at least we can get somebody not to die.
But then that wouldn't be a solution to the vaccine. That would just be mitigating symptoms, like how when cancer patients are going through the chemo and stuff, they get morphine so that they don't feel the pain.
No.
So
I'm talking
essentially
about mitigating the
trying to-
actual disease. Like, let's say this shit fucks up your lungs. Well, we put out medication and treatment that makes it harder for it to penetrate your lungs. So you have a larger percentage of your body being able to withstand it. Not that it's gonna not hurt your lungs, but you're still gonna die of your lungs not functioning. I'm actually talking about treatment that would improve the way your body is defending against this motherfucker. I mean, if Trump fucking got some shit done, like, I'm pretty sure there's something out there that, fucking inject bleach or some
Well,
shit.
What I have understood is that based on how your immune system responds is how it reacts. So somebody with a strong immune system could actually be worse off than somebody with a weak immune system, because it's based off of the reaction. It's based off of the what it does to react to the virus.
Okay. It does make sense, but that is very, it's the opposite of optimistic, right? Like, oh, you have a
Should I
strong
not
immune
take care of
system?
myself?
Yeah, then should I go to Taco Bell and have a shitty immune system that won't react aggressively against
And
it?
If they drop my burrito, do I
But-
now eat it?
But it's a catch-22, because now if your immune system is weak enough that the body the virus takes over, then you're still fucked.
Okay, so what's the fucking answer? Like, do you just put 6 bullets on a revolver and call it quits?
No, you just put one and then you spin it.
And you do that every day.
And then after 2 weeks, you put in another bullet and then see how that goes.
All right, I think people have had enough. So, but thank you guys. It's been great. It's been a minute since we've chilled and talked, and this time I got you both here. So, thanks a lot for coming. It's been a fucking trip. Haven't laughed this hard in a minute, and I hope the rest of you were able to endure our shit talking for almost fucking over 4 hours in total.
Fuck. Yeah. Damn. That's nice.
All right, so go do something for yourself. Show the world that you're worth it, and don't get the Rona. Stay safe. Stay home.
Definitely don't get the
Netflix
Rona.
and chill. Peace out, guys. Love you. Broski Doodles in a bit.
Take care.
Peace.